Does help when you unmute yourself. Welcome back if you are here indeed. Nobody yet, but this is the morning time, so I'm sure most people will not be watching live, but will probably just watch this when it's canned. It's really nice to see probably about 60 views in about 20 hours or so of this video being up. Not even 20 hours, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I started looking at it yesterday. So quite pleased with that. That's very good. Keep it up. But after looking at the core rulebook modules for Foundry yesterday a little bit, I just thought, okay, I want to look at the Last Voyage of the Ghazali now. So this is the adventure, which I bought at the time when I bought the whole Coriolis bundle. And the graphics quality in this, and not just the graphics quality, but the construction of this module here, of this scenario, is really good because it gives you so many different aspects of the game. From quiet moments of negotiations and diplomacy all the way to running down, screaming a corridor, running away from something that chases you. Now that brings me to something, as I go through this module, I probably will spoil it a little bit. So if you're a player and you want to keep it all fresh for yourself, you may want to stop watching. Yeah? So, just so you know. Right. Let me just set up my last bit here of my chat so I can actually monitor the chat here on my other screen. And check that this actually is live, because I'm not getting anything here on my channel. So my channel. Oh yeah, there it is. Now it's refreshed. Good, so I can monitor the chat. Right, so where do we start? This is our Third Horizon map as per yesterday. It's the same module. I have not really done anything else other than putting a couple of my modules on. So if that is of interest to you, I'll start with a quick view at module. Manage modules. And right now I only have 23 enabled. Normally it's about 30, 32. So for example, time I haven't got on here. So background loss pins, because I use that for a lot of things I drop onto the map. Break time, because yeah, when you manage a game online, it's really useful, that one. Card support, I'm going to look at that today, because yeah, version 9 of Foundry is supposed to have card support in it, so we don't need to have lots of jiggery-pokery to make this work. Chat portrait, because I like to see who's typing stuff. Compendium folders is definitely a must. It just keeps things tidy. I think you may even need that for this module, because it's all structured folders in the compendium. Coriolis core rulebook, of course, Last Voyage. Scene enhancements, the key here on the DF scene enhancement, hopefully you can see that here. Is that it allows me to go to a scene, just click on it and change without having to right click and say view scene or whatever, just click on it. Much more intuitive. Dice so nice, you all know about. GM screen is here at the bottom. I'm going to talk about that a bit at the end, maybe how to use that with the Last Voyage, but that lends itself to that. Then we've got a couple of other things. Hey, listen, chat notifications just pops up a chat card in the bottom left, so you don't always have to go back to the chat card to see dice rolls, which really annoys me on Roll20. Journal scaler, that's something I was trying to do yesterday. It didn't work. I want to zoom in on these beautifully looking journal pages, but some of them are a bit small on my monitor. Even though it's a, what is it, 24-inch 4K, something like that. Anyway, don't go through all of these. Probably, yeah, that when I come across them. So let's have a look. What do you get with the Last Voyage is, let me pop these out. You get scenes. So you get some scenes structured by the acts that you're going to play. So there's an introduction, Act 1, Act 2, player material. And this already brings me to one of the first bits of feedback on here. When I look at this, I think the introduction should be before Act 1 and Act 2, right? And it may just be a bit silly, but again, I'm a bit of a organization freak. So you may think that's very hard to achieve, because if I try to push this one up here, yeah, this folder I want it up here, it won't do it. But if you right click on it and you want to say edit folder, and it's got sorting mode manual, bingo. Yeah, I find that already much easier to just wrap my head around. So we've got scenes, we've got actors, but the key things where you should start really is in the journals. Because in the journals, you will see here that you get an index. Yeah, do you get the credits page? Let me show you what I mean about zooming in. Yeah, you've got all these brilliant people, all these creative people from Free League and from Jan Ringen beforehand who want to be credited, and you can hardly see it. So, of course, you can zoom in like this, but with the journal scaler, you can see that the script underneath it gets bigger with the mouse wheel and control. That's the plugin, but unfortunately you can't do that with a picture. So on there, if you want to look at all the good names of the good people, then you really have to make it big. But okay, minor gripe. So the important thing is how to use this module. Again, read it. Yeah, RTFM. Read the full manual. Here you can see that the zooming in really helps. Yeah, so it's a bit clearer for you at home maybe as well. And it's linked, so it basically talks you through what you need to do. It's a collection of stuff. Yeah, we know that. Okay. If you ever want to restore some content back because you messed it up, re-import it from the settings, very good. But this is really where it's at. So the content is organized by acts, generally run in this order. And then you've got various other things on here that help you. That's a nice search anyway. So, for example, we've got, click on here, Act 1. And that is a talk through the different things of starting Act 1. So one of the first things I would do when I'm running this game, because I don't like having so many journal windows open everywhere, I would grab this page, Act 1 Emergency. Yeah, I would open my GM screen. I will then drag this relevant one over here. Act 1. Right, so I've got it here. You can easily configure, this is not going to be GM screen, but you can easily say, okay, I want this over 3 rows. So I've got the basics here on the side. And then I can even do that with each of the scenes if I wanted to. But if I now click on here, that works fully. Yeah. So the introduction, it says, begin with the starting scene below. The first act ends when the PCs find a working terminal and manage to contact the ship's computer. Good. So one of the little modules I've got is the narrated tools. So of course you can sit there and read it out, but one of the really cool modules and very simple really is this. You can highlight, for example, this first readout, and you can narrate it. Excuse me, the cough is not gone yet. I thought it was better. So as you can see in the background, it's not quite Star Wars. Yeah, we don't have the keystone effect. It would be lovely to see that as an extra add-on. But you get this and you can read it through. Also, whatever I just narrated gets popped in the chat. So it's a bit small for you to see on the screen again, but if any player wants to read along, can't understand me because I'm coughing, can't understand my strange accent, then they can read along and have all the information also to scroll back to. Yeah, the narration information. So, okay, I've got that. So where was I? GM screen is your friend. Excuse me. I'm still making this a bit bigger to make it slightly more likely that you can see it at home. Also on the GM screen, the zoom works as well. Really cool, really useful. In Forbidden Lands, for example, I've got my 4 player characters on one of these tabs. You can have extra tabs up here on the side as well. So I've got one for characters, one for story, one for rules, but okay. Different story, different video. If you want to see it, let me know. So, starting scene. They wake up. So, click on that. Oh, I minimized that, didn't I? That's one of the annoying things, because I minimized it somewhere and shoved it somewhere here. But if it's already minimized, you can't reopen it. I hope that's going to change at some point. So you've got exactly the same stuff as in the book. Yeah, and Alex, the guy who made this, High Wings, he really stuck really closely, if you look at the layout in here, yeah, stuck really closely to the way it's designed. I love the graphics design on this one. The style sheets just make it really, yeah, just make it Coriolis for me, including these little boxes here. So you get your players through it. At the beginning, they wake up on a ship. You may expect a map for this ship. There is not actually one in the rules for this one. Oh, I should show you something beforehand. Hang on. I should show you this. Probably my favorite cover. Yeah, this is the original book cover with the text removed. Yeah. Just love that. I think it may have been nominated or even won a prize. I'm not quite sure. But I just love that. Anyway, so there is no map as such. There is no battle maps in this module at all, because that's not a battle map sort of scenario. That's not to say you can't use it. I created one when I ran it and printed it off actually and brought it with me into the role-playing club of the last scene. Yeah, the last hangar scene. Because there was a bit of kerfuffle, there was some shooting and so on, and I thought, oh, this would be useful to have some sort of scene for. But other than that, all you really need on this one is this overview map here. And as you can see, they've got these little things called energy points. Yeah. That becomes relevant later on, because this is like a countdown. And just riffing, spitballing, as they say in America, I think. Here I would probably create either a tile with a token, or I would create what I call an actor. I've got some actors that I use for these energy points. But let's see if I wanted to create a quick tile on this one. So I go to tiles, tile browser. Where would I have hidden it? On the tokens. Coriolis. Not there. Okay. Just find one. Because I created letter and number tokens. For Coriolis, actually. I'm just not sure where I stuck them. Number token sheet. Doesn't matter as much. But you could, I'll just create a token for now. Although it does annoy me, I have to say, because I created them. Okay, I created them a year ago, but still, I should be able to find them. Unless... Yes, let's use this one. It's a torpedo. It's not an energy point, but doesn't matter. So you probably can't see what I'm talking about anyway. So you have a tile up here. Yeah, imagine that being an energy point, like a swirling orb or something. I used glass beads on the map, on the table at the time, and then basically stole them back. Yeah, and then we can create these, you can copy them across and take them off one by one to show how the energy goes down, how the time basically ticks down as they're trying to escape the ship. So that's really useful. Other than that, this was really our theater of mind map. We did all sorts of stuff in this adventure, and it's really good. There's tense meetings, there's trying to escape, there's trying to do spacewalks to get to different parts of the ship, do that all under time pressure while things are chasing you, or other people are not chasing you but expecting you to help them, rescue them, all that stuff. Lots of good stuff. Anyway, back to this, not so much about me. So scenes, as I said, you've got... oh, you do actually have a couple. All right, yes, okay. I shortchanged you, sorry. There is the airlock to the chapel. I like the chapel on this one because it supported it. I thought the airlock map, yeah, even in the original, wasn't great. So it just shows you, oh, there's an airlock there and there's an airlock there. Right, okay. And in between, that's where the story actually happens. So it would almost have been nice to have an exterior view of the ship from one airlock to the other and show the transition from one airlock to the other rather than just showing a little black gap. Because this black gap here, that's where the fun stuff happened. Yeah. Why is my ping not working? Probably because it's black. Oh, okay. Ah, because I used the different module. So this black gap here, that's where the action happens. And this over here and here is partially, and on the bridge, which we're going to get to here on the bridge. This is where my crew's obsession with soft furnishing started. But anyway, so this one worked quite well. Again, it's not really a battle map for me. It is much more a question of visualization. A little bit of feedback here, battle map wise. If I look at the grid lines, they don't line up. Yeah, with the tiles on here. Again, might not matter so much, but how can you tell how big the soft furnishings are if it doesn't line up? Right, docks. yeah, this is one of the places where things happened for my crew. Yeah, so, and I fair enough, it's a map, tells you a little bit, but actually I made a different one for this one. On screen, yeah, well, I know it's a real pain because the PDF is in this way. On screen, I probably would have turned it around, but then the numbers would have to be turned around, so I understand that you didn't do that. But yeah, this doesn't really tell you a lot, especially because it's hard to tell that these are catwalks, and that there's another layer underneath it. But yeah, fair enough, it's there, and that's good. And the quality of the map, again, is nice and sharp, just like the other ones. The grids will probably look a bit big, so if I drop my test character on here, now you can see Test wouldn't get through the door. So again, the grid size I would check. What else do we have? We had, sorry, scenes. I was looking at scenes. The med lab. Yeah, again, this can be useful. Grid size looks a little bit better here. But again, it's not aligned. It's not a battle map, so if it's roughly the right size, yeah, I wouldn't bother with aligning it necessarily, but made it. It's my own view. By the way, the nice background and the background music you're hearing here, that's actually included in this module, which I'm really delighted with, because I had it as one stream, yeah, back to back, but now I've got the different tracks and I can shuffle them. Good. So that's that. The story then proceeds. Of course, you've got one act after the other. I did mention earlier here, if you look at the act description, it tells you starting scene through darkness status reports. Those are the three bits like in the book. But if you look at the... Just a little bit. Oh no, it won't let me do that because I'm not in my browser. If you look at the order in the journal, it's not the same order. And again, the same thing. If you just manually sort it, you could achieve that. Or if that doesn't work because of the way that compendiums get imported, just put a number in front of them. Yeah, Act 1, yeah, 1.0. Act 1 summary, 1.1 starting scene dawn, 1.2 through darkness, 1.3 status reports. That will keep it nice and orderly. That's certainly what I do when I make my own modules here. Act 2, same way. Yeah, it starts with a summary, with an overview. What I would do when I run this is I would basically have the act I'm currently in on the left. Then I would have the snippets I need, the scenes I need on here. Just drag them on here. And then I probably would have my own session notes on some of these as well. So things like crew information, what are their fears, what's their background, what's their dark secret. So I always have that to hand. Right. No, this is not it. I wonder whether there's a particular roll table. I can't remember for this game, for this scenario. I don't think there is. Ah, look at that. The bridge. And again, I would like to show this. Yeah, and I've got show players up here. Of course I do. Never got a name. It's not on the images. Show players. And I can't show that. However, I read in the introduction that all the art is included somewhere. What did it say? Introduction. No, that's not it. How to use this module. Let's say artwork. Through the journal entries, you find the Coriolis artwork. Many of these entries are images, but if you wish to use a specific, all the images are sorted into the respective acts in the Coriolis Ghazali image folder. So let's try this out. That should mean, I'm assuming that means the tiles. So if I go to my modules, which is user data, modules, Coriolis core rulebook, no, Ghazali, images, Act 1, and I've got the images here. So what I could show, for example, the starting scene, now let's use it. Act 2. I wanted to show this picture here. I can drag and drop it on, show everybody. Say, this is the chapel. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And once it's done, hit delete and it's gone. Yeah, that works. That works for me. Yesterday I said I would really like to have this. Let me check actually whether the modules are on, whether the art is on the core rulebook as well. Much harder to do, of course, because there's so much art in that book. Images. Yeah, chapter by chapter, they're all here. Good. Good. Yeah, so that's a really useful thing to know, that the image assets are all there. Accessible to you. I don't just mean in the text, but accessible to you guys. Right, scenes. Oh gosh, losing the plot a little bit. So airlock to chapel, we've done bridge, docks, medlab, we've had to look at. Act 2, is that really the end? 2, I can't remember that well. There's an Act 3, so there's no scenes in Act 3. It seems strange. So let's see. Evacuating the Ghazali. I guess for me Act 3 was the dock, but you didn't necessarily have to wait until Act 3 to get there. So maybe that's why it's not in there. Yeah, that's this bit here. The escape pods. So just to show you, this is the map. Oh yes, okay. This is a map of that came with it, but I think that's built in already. So don't worry about that too much. That is in the system, the Omric. So that's the only other map I was looking for. But that is already in. I've seen the Omric somewhere. Let me have a look. Where's the Omric? Omric. There, Omric handout. Yeah. It's as a handout, not as a scene. Oh, it is a scene, but it's a handout scene, which is, I still think is strange. I usually make my handouts as journal entries, and then under the journal I've got one folder. Create a folder called player, handouts or player information, and I just drag and drop stuff into there and give them the rights. So it's nice, nicely done, nicely presented. Act 3. So same idea, you get the hyperlinks here, if you want to call them, if you can remember those old days, hypercards they were called in those days. Buttons, I would just call them now. And again, beautifully presented. It's nice. So could you run this like this? Very easily. Very easily. It's a it does include the Hammurabi space station, which is sort of the last escape. It's actually after the escape that you can go there, and it's a new adventure site. So you can explore it a little more. And it's all here. All the information is here. The follow-up, the epilogue, as it says. So, what has he included for Hammurabi? Information, because I'm in the journals. Sidebars are in there. Yeah, that's just what comes up when you import it. Amura system, that's the system information. And that's the roll table I was looking for. I wonder whether he's made a roll table of this. Events in the, yeah, look at that. So, events in the Hamura system. It's a roll table. The roll. I post this, and we've got an ion storm. So what I would love to be able to do, sorry, again, being picky, is click on there and say, what's an ion storm? So I have to actually use this journal entry to do this. Okay, I can zoom in because I've got my journal scaler. And then I've got the information here. Good. I need ship defects. Yeah, another table. Formatting is always an issue. Yeah, when you have got flexible screen sizes and so on. So don't stress about those costs over there being broken across lines. And that's why I think the pictures work really well. Yeah, the pictures off tables. So, have we got any other roll tables? Roll tables, events in the Hamura system, and spacewalk events. Okay. So, roll. And we've got loose debris. And there we've got actually got a bit of a description there. That's better. Yeah. So I don't actually have to then go back to another sheet and look, what was that again? Yeah, what was the ion storm again? Here I can just run it from here, which is really useful. Okay, looking at the monsters. Have we got the monsters? NPCs. We've got the different refugees. We've got Lahoriades, the stevedore. We've got Brother Ramos. Yeah, he's quite famous. Comina. And here all the artworks, when they are available, are included. And that's good. And for my own game, I found little portraits and I printed them, clipped them onto my GM screen because it was around a table. But that's good. And the Nakatras here. 2 of the Nakatras, and they have the same picture. Yeah, again, I used different pictures. I didn't use this one there. Because this is the alpha female. You would have a different picture for an alpha, right? And then we have the Hammurabi. Now, I wonder, these monsters, are they in the core rule books? They should be creatures. How do we spell them again? Start with an M. Yeah, they're there. Muzhajar. They are there. Okay, so that's one of the spacewalk events. You may encounter some of these, and again, it's good to have them there with all the stats. I've got a couple of people who are watching me, I think. No, one on Twitch and one on YouTube. Hello there. I can see your chat, but if you're there, welcome. Pull this across. Can I make the chat available? No, fortunately not. One of the difficulties with Streamlabs, slobs. Maybe you haven't chatted. It's also possible. So, that brings me most of the way through the review. Is there anything I forgot? Is there anything hidden? Let's have a look here. Yeah, I think I've discovered everything. There's no hidden content anywhere. Items, there are no particular items for this journal. Items, of course, there are quite a few because all the story is going to be in here. Good. And I don't think we have any extra macros, do we? No. None. Playlists, roll tables, that's the 2 we saw. Yeah. So the content is all there. With the music, with the scenes, with the artwork available. Yeah, you will definitely be able to run this really well on here. And that's very commendable. Now, one of the things I do a lot more. Hey, Thomas. Down under. How are you doing? I hope you're not too early this time around. Just trying to get the word out there, Thomas. So, that really threw me now. Is there some gear here? Yeah, okay. There's some extra gear here, which is interesting because Arash, for example, is under the Last Voyage of the Ghazali, and I'm pretty sure it should be in the core rule as well. There's a little bit of duplication of items, which is why that's needed. Because I don't think anybody will buy Last Voyage without buying the core rule set, but I might be wrong. We've got NPC with some extra stuff. Yeah, that was something. Sugar globes. Yeah, when I played this initially, maybe I missed it somewhere, but I hadn't come across sugar globes until I actually ran this scenario. And I was sitting there and said, okay, we've got this fortune teller, and she's got a sugar globe, and she's trying to look into it and gaze the future. And I literally thought it was a sugar globe rather than this precursor artifact that you wash in sugar water to make it glow. I hadn't clocked that at all. You can imagine that my description was slightly bemused and slightly strange. And they basically said, oh, so she's an absolute fraud. She was a fraud, but not as much of a fraud as somebody sitting there with a sugar cube that was rounded off and looking into it. Anyway, I just said it was sort of made of sugar. Sugar-like substance. That was a long time ago now. So you've got what you need here. Again, thermal cricket, that is in the core rules. It says at the bottom as well, core rules. So I'm not sure why it was necessary to include that again. Talents. Oh, I haven't looked at talents very much yesterday. Are there new talents here? No, there aren't really. I think what Alex has tried to do here is just to make sure that any NPCs he's got all the things they need in their own module. So he can refer to it better. But there is some duplication here. Yeah, I didn't look at talents a lot yesterday, because it doesn't just belong to this module. I might actually do that another time, because my next step, if people are interested, is to see what happens if I take my current self-built version of Coriolis with all this stuff in it, with all this stuff, reference information keyed in by myself, and then I switch the compendiums on, or the modules. What happens? Will it mess it up entirely? Will I still be able to find it? Because, of course, I'm half the way through Emissary Lost. Sorry, the first book is done, so it's not halfway, it's the third through. And the next one we're going to play in a few months, and I just want to be ready at some point. So I'm going to be coming back to this soon. Right. Any questions at all? Thomas, have you got any questions for me? And I have to wait until the signal goes all the way down under and comes back to me. Time for our tea. Thomas, one of the things I want to watch today is your The One Ring, 2nd edition play. It looks really, really good. I haven't had the time yet, but I'm definitely going to check it out. Right. How well lit are the maps? Well, as I said, there's not a lot of maps in here. So if you look at the levels of the ship, yeah, it is basically the PDF. So if I look at walls, there's no walls set up. That means there's no walls, there's no shadow, there's no light sources or anything. It's just a plain map. Also, one of the first things I would do is to adjust and then reduce the grid. So let's have a look. Brother Ramos, pull him in. Yeah, I don't like these tall, skinny guys. Yeah, I'd rather have a sort of normal-looking person. I made one yesterday of a heap. So if that's my icon, you can see it's way too big. So if I went into here, I probably would have to configure this to about 50 square. And I know there are modules that make this a bit easier to align and so on. 50 seems to be about right, not quite right. And if it's not quite right, you can't be bothered to fiddle with it. Just switch the grid off. Yeah, take the opacity right the way down. And now it looks a bit more to scale. No walls. No walls on the maps. Do you need them? Yeah, on this ship, you never know. There might be a fight. If you play The Hyenas of Odakon by Michael Masberg, yeah, he's setting a scenario on a ship like this, and there's going to be some fight down in the freight room, and for that, wall it off by all means. But if you're just trying to understand what the ship looks like, what the structure is, you don't need to wall it off. There's nothing else that would require, I think, on the scenes here, anything with walls, because you're not going to use this as battle maps. This one possibly as battle map. Again, let's summon Wahib, the mighty, the number one. And I need him, not his cantina. Yeah. Probably a bit big again. Resize it. Make it 50 again. Yeah, that looks about right. If I look here at the doors. Yeah, you don't need walls on this. Nikatra, you want to have a look at the Nikatra? We have Nikatra, we've got the core rulebook Nikatra, we've got the Ghazali Nikatra, and we have the Alpha Nikatra. If I pull them on here, you see what I don't like, these skinny things? So one of the first things, again, I would do Nikatra, prototype token. Change the image, go into my little library of tokens, which you probably can't see when I open it. Or you might be able. But this is the small selection. So, tokens, Nikatra. Nikatra are very important. And they're not capybaras, of course. But they are important. So, here's one here, for example. Come on, load it. we go. Select file, update token, get the Nakatra. Doesn't that look much better? Right, so you have the Nakatra, if that was the question. And yeah, everybody will know this. But if you're wondering how the system actually works, then I've got a video from a year ago talking you through the basic system. It has changed a little bit, but I've got lots of streamed episodes as well if you want to see how it's used in anger. So for example, if you were to roll, got any attacks? Yeah, a bite. You were to roll a bite, you get a little pop-up. You then roll, you get the dice so nice, you get the successes down there. And something I think you were disappointed to hear, Thomas, was that you can pray as an NSC. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. And you can generate darkness points. So hopefully Alex Wings is going to sort that out. Ivan, hello, you're also watching. I made a bunch of tokens from all the books. Yes, I grabbed them at some point, but I also made a lot of my own. So thanks for doing that. Let's see. Yeah, by the time you get uploaded that, I grabbed most of the graphics myself. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah, one of the things I mentioned yesterday also was the roll tables for crits. So critical injuries is probably my favorite table of this because it really leads to some tense moments. Let me find it. Where is it? Critical ship damage. I just can't find it. Why not? Let's see. There. Table 5-6. The search function. Very useful. So I roll on this one. And what I was hoping to do is grab it from the chat and put it across, like I can do in Forbidden Lands, for example. And I can't do that. It's annoying. But I can go to items. Oh, 65. PS. Oh, that's not good. I can go to items, look for PS Start, put it from here, and then I will show under stats down here. Your heart beats one final time, creating your PC. Of course, I didn't need to pull that on, but this really, if you play a character and you want to track your crits, this is really useful. But having to go and find them is a bit fiddly, and I think you can change the table configuration to actually bring the item into the chat. I've certainly done it before. So, yeah, Tom, I will load against my pre-built version. I create a clone on the Forge of my current world. I'm going to load it into there and see what happens, because I don't want to mess up my current world. And I've uploaded both modules now to the Forge as well. Anyway, I think for the Ghazali bit, this brings it to a close. I might carry on the other side with this import test on the Forge. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, leave a trail, yeah? Leave a comment, give me a thumbs up, whatever. You may even want to subscribe or buy me a tea or coffee. Because I need it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in, Ivan and Thomas. I need a break, so I'll be seeing you soon. Take care, everybody.